Hey there YouTube, AJ here on a brisk December day, getting closed in on Christmas here. I have two major things I need to mock up on the hot rod. One is the fuel tank, which I think I have a plan for, I just haven't started doing it yet. And then two, it still needs a drive shaft. Now, some time back I picked up this 1966 Mustang drive shaft off of Facebook Marketplace. And it was fairly cheap. I don't remember exactly how much, but it was pretty cheap. And I thought I'd be able to cut it down and use it for my drive shaft. This end has the Spicer 1310 series U-joint, which is the same as my transmission output shaft and the same as the rear end in the car. So this end's going to work one way or the other. This one, however, has a smaller 1110 series U-joint, and it has the inside snap rings, whereas the 1310 series that this uses, the snap ring goes in from the outside. And then on this little guy, it's much smaller. I don't know if you can see that, but great. Full cup of coffee, gone. Got about a tiny swallow and a half left. Hot. Wasted my coffee. Hopefully I didn't mess up my output shaft. Probably okay. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So this end, which is the 1310 series, is quite a bit wider than the 1110 series, and the caps are a little bit different size. So I was thinking I'd be able to just get a conversion joint and use it to use this end. However, if you look at this, when they start to mesh and you get it in there trying to line up, it's not going to work because there's not enough clearance for this to spin, you know, and bend the way it needs to. So it's not going to work. Plus, they don't make a conversion joint probably for that reason, that they know you can't make them work together. So this drive shaft, I could still use it, get another end and, you know, like another end like this and cut it down and use it, which is still a possibility that I might need to do. However, this week on Facebook Marketplace, I was cruising along and I saw an ad for another 66 Ford drive shaft. However, this one was out of a pickup. Now obviously it has this big old carrier bearing and it's a two-piece drive shaft. However, these come apart, maybe. Hang on. Okay, so this part we're not going to use. However, this part has 1310 series U-joints on both ends. I think it's going to be just long enough or too short. Maybe just a little long. I don't know. It's going to be really close. I haven't measured it up yet. So I thought what I'd do today is pop this other yoke off here and maybe try to see just how close it's going to fit. So that's the first thing we need to do. Let's get this yoke off. Now I've always found getting U-joints out of these things either really easy or really hard. And I'm guessing that since these haven't been out in a while, it's not going to come out easy. Man, I need a different pair. This isn't going to work. All right, let's try this again, see if I can get a hold of these. Man. Yeah, there we go. Oh. So the first thing we need to do is get the snap ring out of here. And just try to getting bombed if you can't hear it in the background. Come on now. So we're going to try to get this snap ring to squeeze together. Hang on. Maybe now that we got a little bit of extra holding power, we can make this work. I had it a minute ago. Great. I'm gonna squeeze the snap ring together and try to get this screwdriver under it like so, and then lever it out. That's one side. Other side. And in case you aren't painfully aware of this, I have absolutely no training as a car mechanic. I'm just figuring this out as I go. I've always worked on my own cars, but never really have done as, I mean, I've changed U-joints before, things like that, but I've never really completely built an entire car the way I am with this hot rod. I've done restoration type stuff and modifications, but never built an entire car. Alright, so we got the snap rings out. That wasn't too bad. Now, what we got to do is drive these caps out for the U-joint, and hopefully do it without losing all the needle bearings in them. I'm going to start by trying to clean some of the crud out of it so it doesn't just get jammed up down in there. Probably not necessary, but you know. Alright. Same thing on the other side. Maybe we'll squirt a little penetrating oil down in there too. Hopefully things make these things slide a little better. Okay, we're going to come down here by the coffee stain and use the ground because it's going to be more solid to drive on. We're going to put one side of this on that socket that's big enough to let the cap actually drive out and go down into the socket. And we're going to use another socket and try to drive this out. No, we're not. Alright. I'm not going to be able to do this because it's making too much noise. My wife's office is right above me. She's working on the weekend already. And I know that if I start hammering on this, it's going to upset her. So we're going to go to the press. Now, this honestly is probably physically easier than trying to hammer it out the way I was going to. It's kind of a pain because I got to get my press set up, move a car out to get to it, and then it's just a little harder to juggle all this while I try to operate the press. All right, now we're moving. Okay. Well, we've driven it out flush, so we weren't able to drive it in far enough, so we got to redo it. Apparently it was hitting the bottom plate. There we go, now it's going. I don't know if you can see it coming out the bottom there. I don't know if I can press it all the way out through or not. No, see it's hitting. All right, so now we need to release this. And now that we've pressed one side mostly out, one side mostly through, let's go see if we can't work this thing out. All right, let's see. Well, it turns, so that's a good start, but it's really slick. I can't grab a hold of it. Let me grab some. See if I can get it out with this. There we go. Okay, so that side's out. It almost will come back through, but not quite. And something just fell out of there. What was that? Oh, it was just a really hard, crusty chunk of grease. So now we got to work it back the other way. Oh, come on now. So we can get the whole U-joint out. So we've got it started back in. So what we're going to do is go use the press again, press it back the other way. All right, so now we're pressing the other cap through. Yep, oh, I forgot, I'm going to have to go in. I got to get this more centered. Okay, now it should be flush to the other side. Pull our plates open to give it room to drop out. It's coming out. Now we'll go see if we can get this other side out. Honestly, to me, it's easier just to bang on them with a hammer and a socket. But like I said, I'm trying to be polite, be quieter for my wife. It already sucks enough for her that she has to work the Saturday before Christmas, so you know. That one came out nice and easy. Inside these caps you have these needle bearings, and man, you drop the cap, these things are going to go all over the place. But so you got to be really careful when you're working with U-joints for that reason. And because I'm going to try to mock up my drive line with these existing U-joints in here, I don't want to lose those. Okay, so now you can see this is able to come off. I will put in fresh U-joints before running it, but for the mock-up, using these is fine. I bent this one a little bit, so it may not go back together. We'll see. Yeah, I bent the body of it right here in the press, so this doesn't want to go back on. It's on there for now. All right, so the next thing we need to do is find my output shaft for my transmission. All right, got my output shaft. Obviously you can't just stick this on, you got to kind of reverse the process you just did. And since I just hammered this one cap on here, let's see what turns, but it's not going to come off easy. There's one. Oh, there's two. So this end did come off easier. All right, so we're going to reverse the process. We're going to throw our yoke over, put one on. Get it started. We'll put our other one in. All right, so with that, we're going to go back to the press and try to send these home. Okay.
This is why I have to hammer.
Yeah, they got to come back out anyway, so I'm not going to worry about like trying to drive them in all the way and put the snap rings back in. It just means it's kind of loose right now. That doesn't matter for what I'm about to do next, which is go under the car, see how long or short we are. So right above me here, this is the output shaft of my transmission. And so we're going to slide the shaft back on, and I may have to trim this yoke down, I'm not sure. Right there it's bottomed out already. All right, now let's go flip ourselves around to the other end at the differential and see how long we are. Well, as you can see, here's our differential output and our shaft. Oh boy, It needs to come back maybe a 1/2 inch, which would give me a 1/2 inch of slip. This thing's basically about a 1/2 inch short with it fully compressed, the slide all the way up into the transmission. So what that tells me, I just need to trim just a smidge, like a 1/2 inch off the end of my yoke up there, my transmission output yoke, and I will be set, and I won't have to modify this drive shaft at all, which is sweet. That is awesome. So let's, we're not gonna mess with, I'm not gonna mess with trimming the yoke today because I don't need it trimmed right away. But you know what, just to kind of have this completely mocked up, let's pop these U-bolts out of here and put this end in. I might need to go get a wrench for this. Instead of a socket, it's kind of hard to get on with the socket. All right, hold on. I gotta go get a wrench instead of a socket. Okay, I'm back. Oh my God, this is killing my arm. I gotta get a better position. Oh, I want to lift so bad. Oh my gosh. Got a radius rod just crushing my ribs right now. Not to mention I'm being blinded looking into my light. Oh, there we go. All right. Let's see if this other one's loose enough to just let it slide in yet. Look at that. Oh, that's a lucky purchase. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention it, but I got this for 15 bucks, which was a screaming deal in my opinion. I'm very grateful to the man that sold it to me. Especially now. Uh-oh. There it is. Missing one of my 100-year-old lock washers. Yeah. Don't want to lose my antiques, right? All right. Now, just give these a little snug. We don't need to cinch them all up because eventually they're coming off there again. So there we have it. We have a 1966 Ford pickup drive shaft, the second part that goes from the carrier bearing to the differential, I would assume, with the correct size U-joints and the correct length that I need. That is just something else. It is probably usable as is, because I don't know if I'm going to need an inch of slip or not. A 1/2 inch is probably going to do me. I'm not going to have like a ton of travel. But yeah, that's pretty awesome. So there you have it. A Christmas miracle for me and my hot rod. I buy a $15 drive shaft from a 1966 Ford pickup off Facebook Marketplace. And it not only has the same U-joints in it that I need, the same size for both my transmission and my rear end, but it also is exactly the correct length I need. That's crazy. I mean, what are the odds, really? So yeah, I'm gonna call it a Christmas miracle. But anyway, I want to say thank you to everybody for watching. I want to thank you. I've had a great year on YouTube. I'm up to over 1,000 subs now. And that was my goal actually for this year. I was actually thinking that if I didn't make 1,000 subs that I might stop messing around with YouTube, you know, and just film like brief updates on my hot rod and other projects. Not really do as much as I have been doing, because it is a lot of work and it slows you down to film. So thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for following along, the people that put in the comments the words of encouragement it means a lot to me. I will say that. And it's kind of crazy that there's people that comment pretty consistently that, you know, you start thinking of as friends. But so to all of you out there that do that, thank you. And I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Speaking of the new year, I will be having a 1,000 sub giveaway coming up. I'm going to try to get it out by the end of January. No promises because I have to travel a lot for work right now. So, but we will get it out probably at least in the first quarter of the new year, if not January. So be looking for that. And so that's about all I have to say. So I'm grateful for everything that I have in my life, but I'm also grateful for my little Driveshaft Christmas miracle here. So until next year, guys, later. Moment of silence from my fallen coffee.